Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to my talk. BioGen is a Taiwan-based company. It was founded in 2016 and currently is listed in the Taipei Exchange. The company has two regenerative technology platforms for bone and cartilage repair and regeneration. The first product is called the RiverCart. It's a one-step autologous cartilage repair system that is commercially available in Taiwan. And the second technology is OIF, TCP, a composite material. It's an osteoinductive bone graft based on recombinant human BMP2, currently under several clinical trials. We know arthritis is a major disease worldwide. In this country alone, there are over 60 million US adults suffer from this disease. And the annual economic loss is over 300 billion. We don't know the cause of arthritis, but we do know if you have a cartilage damage, on your knee, if those damage is not repaired and cartilage does not heal, then eventually you will have osteoarthritis. Then you might become a candidate, for artificial joint replacement down the road. So how big is the cartilage market? In this country, there are over 1 million arthroscopic procedures performed every year. And among those over 1 million procedures, the doctor will find out there are over 800,000 those knees will show some degree of cartilage damages. And among those over 800,000 knees, there are over 100,000 knees have a severe cartilage damage. That means you have a full thickness of cartilage damage. You can see the underlying bone. And those damages will not heal by itself. Or if they are not treated, the knee will just deteriorate with time very quickly. So based on those over 100,000 severe cartilage damage, the market potential is over 1 billion at least, just in this country alone. Carticels originally from a company called Genzyme out of Boston. It's based on autologous chondrocyte implantation. And that means a surgeon, when a patient comes in, surgeon would take a small amount of biopsy tissue. It's around about 200 milligrams. Then the tissue will go back to the company's laboratory. Then cells will get separate, then put into a bioreactor for 4 weeks. And after you have several million of chondrocyte, then patient comes back to receive surgery. So we call this a two-step surgery. And the current generation product is called a MACI, which is much easier for surgeon to do the surgery. And MACI is the treatment of choice by many sports medicine surgeons to treat a large defect. It generates about 120 million in sales a year. But MACI has several major drawbacks that really limits its broader applications. The first one is that because of two surgery, so it's a very cumbersome and inconvenient. No one wants to go through two surgeries. They have to wait, at least 4 weeks, for cells to get ready. So MACI is very expensive. It costs like over $40,000, okay, for surgeries. And our company's RiverCart, we call it a one-step cartilage repair. It's based on the same chondrocyte cell therapy, just like a MACI, but it's a one-step. And when patient comes into the OR, surgeon takes a small piece of tissue, and this tissue never leaves the OR. It goes through the two treatment. The first treatment is a mechanical mincing to reduce the tissue into very fine particles, less than 1 millimeter in size. If you look at this particle under SCM, you probably don't see any chondrocyte. So the second step is use enzyme, to briefly to treat those particles for 20 minutes. Now, if you put those particles back to the SCM and look at, now you can see the chondrocyte exposed at the particle surface. So now imagine that if you put those particles back to your knee, which is the best bioreactor, much better than the bioreactor you can design in the lab. The cell have no problem receiving nutrients, so they will respond right away. They will start to migrate and reproduce. That's how this technology works so well, clinically. Then we combine this particle with a scaffold, a biodegradable porous scaffold. So you have a cylindrical implant, and surgeon just drill the hole, to the bone at the defect site and put a plug, to a defect. Depends on the size of the defect. Surgeon can use 1, 2, 3, 4, plug to cover the defect areas. And entire surgery takes less than 1 hour. So comparing, the Macy has to go through 2 surgery and 4 weeks cell expansion, and this less than an hour. Surgery is done. So this technology offers several competitive advantages over Macy. One is that they use the same cell therapy principle as a one-step surgery, so it's a quick and convenient, and the cost is much, much less. Yeah. And so Rivcar has gone through a human clinical trial in Taiwan, and it has been commercially available for 2 years, last 2 years. And close to 200 patients have received the treatment. And this data is from a pivotal study. As you can see, these patients have a large lesion, so it received the 3 implants. At 1 year follow-up, when surgeon goes into the knee, to look at the repaired tissue, and you can see the defect is fully covered with the repaired tissue, beautifully. And the chart on the bar chart is called the Tadner activities in a score. That's measure how well the patient can perform the competitive sport. At 5 years, you can see the bar chart. The control patient, almost no control patient, can play competitive sport like basketball, or baseball. But the treatment patient, can still, play competitive sports. So clinically, this treatment is very effective. And so Rivcar is commercially available in Taiwan, and it will soon be available in the special medical zone in Hainan Island, China, and in some South Asian countries. And in the US, we are in the process of applying for ID study, and also we have submitted CE mark applications. Now I want to talk about second regenerative technology is a bone graft. The bone graft market, worldwide is very big. It's over 5 billion, and it's projected to grow to between 5 and 7 billion, by 2030. And there are so many different types of bone graft and bone substitutes, but they all fall into 3 different categories: either osteoconductive, or osteoinductive, or osteogenic. But only our own bone has all the 3 properties. So our bone is considered as the gold standard when it comes to bone grafting. Infuse, for Medtronic, is the market leader, and it's been around for 20 years, since FDA first approved it in 2002. It generates, I think, around roughly between 400 to 500 million in sales a year. And it uses collagen, bovine collagen, as a carrier, for the protein and to deliver. And but it has a couple of kind of major drawbacks. One is that because of the dose, is very high, so there's always safety concerns. And because of the high dose and the protein is provided by a drug company, so the cost is very high. So it's very expensive, yeah. And our company's ORF-TCP bone graft is also based on recombinant human BMP2, but it's produced from a bacterial cell. Okay, it's different manufacturing process. And it's formulated for spinal fusion and also as bone void filler, for different, for various type of bone defect. And it has several competitive advantages. One is that guarantee the quality because of we produce BMP2 ourselves. So we have full control on the quality and the cost of the proteins. And because of the way we deliver the protein is using beta TCP ceramic, so it has a much better profile, yeah, result profile. And this is the animal evidence showing that it works much better than infused, okay, at lower dose, okay, based on the critical rabbit bone defect model and the sheep spinal fusion model. And this product has gone through phase 2 non-human study in Japan, and phase 3 study is going to start later this year. And also there's an open tibia fracture clinical study ongoing in Taiwan and the US. And there's a dental study in Japan. And the spinal fusion study ID will be submitted as soon as we complete sheep study. Yeah, thank you.